welcome to another special I Am CX webinar series where we're turning weakness into strength using CX, voice of customer tech, and AI. In this episode, we're going to highlight how to unleash your CX for your business with I Am CX and SANDSIV. My name is Richard Dorsey. I'm the CEO of I Am LLC. I'm joined with my co-host and our Director of CX, Roger Nicholas. And we welcome back Mr. Federico Cesconi, who is the CEO and co-founder of SANDSIV. He is an accomplished leader, ladies and gentlemen, in customer experience and business intelligence. At SANDSIV, Federico has led the development of an AI-driven customer experience solutions, benefiting renowned organizations such as MTN Group, AXA Group, Poste Italiane, Swisscom, A1 Telecom, and Roche. His dynamic leadership and vision continue to shape customer-centric innovations by combining technology with a deep understanding of user interactions. And at SANDSIV, they give companies the power to reimagine their organization around customers, delivering greater value and generating stronger revenue with an enterprise-grade, end-to-end, fully integrated voice of the customer software solution. Headquartered in Zurich, Switzerland, SANDSIV works with global partners and has been awarded by leading analytics firms such as Gartner, Frost & Sullivan, Forrester, and Omdia. Thank you, Federico, for joining us again, and welcome back to the IMCX.
Thank you for the invitation, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, awesome, great to have you, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to take this moment before we give Federico the floor to highlight some of the accolades that SANDSIV Plus, which is the voice of customer platform designed and owned by SANDSIV. Just listen to some of these accolades, okay? SANDSIV is recognized as the gold medalist and leader in the Software Review's 2022 Voice of Customer Software Data Quadrant Report by achieving the highest aggregated satisfaction score amongst voice of customer vendors. SANDSIV is also recognized as the #1 software vendor in the Software Review's 2022 Emotional Footprint with a score of +94. Here's some of the things that SANDSIV is ranked #1 in globally. Availability and quality of training, breadth of features, business value created, ease of implementation, ease of IT administration, product strategy and rate of improvement, vendor support alerts, API framework, data visualization, multi-channel data collection, sentiment analytics, and text analytics. Ladies and gentlemen, we are blessed to have Federico here. In our last session, Federico was able to address a lot of questions that were submitted by many of our guests, our attendees and listeners. We had 160 people RSVP for this event from the Caribbean, from Africa, from Asia, from Europe, and from the US. And quite a few questions were answered in our first session, like Oluwatobi from Africa, from a finance company, and Carlotta Luis from the Virgin Islands asked, how can AI enhance customer experience? So we were able to address that, and we'll address that again today. Also, yesterday, this question, how can AI be trusted with our customer experience strategy? That was a popular question coming out of the Caribbean and in the US. Aisha, who is a regional manager with a consumer goods company, one of the largest in the Caribbean. Tamika, who's a general manager with a credit union. Granham, who's an IT director for a financial services company. And Ramesh, who's a CEO of a trade association business or trade association, rather. And they all asked that question. And then another question that was addressed yesterday that we'll dive into even more today is, what kind of ROI can we expect from customer experience and AI playing together? Vittorio out of Italy asked that. He's out of University of Monaco, if I'm not mistaken. Curdell, who's a senior manager in business compliance and customer experience at a tech company in Trinidad and Tobago. Kareem, who is also a director of IT at a financial services company. And Earl Dean, who's a manager of a tech company in the Caribbean as well. So we hope to feed you to the point that you know exactly the value and the benefit of not only customer experience strategy, but also merging alternative AI rather into your customer experience strategy and the various benefits you can get for your business doing so. So without further ado, I'll let Federico take the floor. And what Federico is going to do is kind of give us a use case of how AI, when infused with customer experience and voice of customer technology, what it can do for a company, what it can offer in terms of insight and actionable feedback. All right, so go ahead and share your screen, Federico. It's all yours.
What is important for me, and what we have said also yesterday, when I think about artificial intelligence and mixing artificial intelligence with our technology, with the technology we offer to our clients, is how can I make the life of my clients easier? So I don't, on a certain extent, I don't care about artificial intelligence. The artificial intelligence should be should enable my client to have an easier life, a better life. They should become, the idol in their company, because they can provide fantastic insights. But at the same time, I must make their life easier. So this is important, and this is what we will see today in the demo, because the goal of this demo is to show how can you extract insights and valuable and actionable information out of a long list of customer review or customer feedback. Let me go immediately in the dashboard. We want to show to the people that participate in this webinar. So what we are showing today is a demo dashboard created for Disneyland Paris. So the idea here is we have collected, as you see here at the top, the first number, 12,947 customer reviews of Disneyland Paris. So people that visited the park in Paris, and then they wrote a review, and this review was published on Facebook. So the review were scrapped from Facebook. And then what we do with this review? First of all, we have just two informations. We have the review, and we have a star, 5 stars score. So for each review, we don't know anything else. So we don't have any other metadata connected. So all the information that you will see today in the dashboard are extracted using large language models directly from the free text. And what kind of information we want to extract? First of all, we want to extract the topic, the aspect, as is called on a technical point of view, the aspect and the sentiment connected with this aspect. And then we want also to understand in which part of the customer journey this aspect is connected. So out of the analysis that we are doing, automatically the model should identify the segment and understand if this segment is connected to a specific stage of the customer journey. Not only once we have identified in which stage of the customer journey the topic and the sentiment referred, we want also to understand in that stage which touch point the customer is referring, in a way that we can have an overview of the full customer journey, but immediately we can understand what are the pitfalls, the problems that potentially the customer encounter in the passing through the customer journey, customer experience at the park. So now we are talking, and sorry if I go a little bit too technical, we are talking about aspect-based sentiment analysis. So as you can see here, APSA stays for aspect-based sentiment analysis. What we do, we take one comment. Now I'm just inventing a very simple comment, you know, I I park at the sorry for the game. I park my car at the park, and then I went to the hotel, but the check-in was not so good. So in this case, the aspect base try to extract and must extract two topics. So the fact that I'm talking about the park and the sentiment probably is neutral, and I'm talking about the check-in at the hotel and the sentiment is negative. More on top of that, it needs to identify that, when I talk about the park, we are talking about the arrival stage in terms of customer experience and touch point parking. When we talk about the hotel, we talk about the hotel stay stage, and we are talking about the check-in. So those are the most important information that must be extracted and then be available in the dashboard. The big advantage we have nowadays using those large language model is the fact that we don't have to train them. They are already trained. And so we can really use immediately the models.
So,
I said that, go ahead, sorry, you have a question.
For our listening and our watching audience, this is just a mind-blowing at the first jump, because what you're seeing here is your entire customer journey for Disneyland Paris, and you get to see it section by section, their sentiment. And like Federico said, whether it's parking in the parking lot, checking in hotel, staying at the hotel, and as you see here, park experience when they start to go into the park itself, and then post visit, so what their after emotions are. All of this just at a glance, you get to see where your weak points are, turning your weaknesses into strengths with CX and AI. And I just wanted to stop to tell the audience, this is where you start to do amazing things within your company and your strategy. Go ahead, Federico.
Yeah, exactly. And basically, as I said, you see that we have 12,947 reviews. And the model analyzing those 12,947 reviews extracted more or less 34,000 aspects. It means, more or less 3 aspects per review. So you understand immediately the power of the model, because within the same sentence is really able to extract different topic and to assign different sentiment to the topic. Then, of course, we have a column, as I said, in the data set, that is the star rating. So that is not a big deal to create an average of the star rating. But what is interesting and what the model has done, has assigned a different average to the different stages of the customer journey, and this was possible because basically the model assigned the customer journey phase and basically the touch point to the specific stage, and we can show the whole journey and all the average on the stages. Below you see basically cross-reference between the stages, the sentiment within the stages, and the average 5 stars rating along the customer journeys in a way that we can immediately see on a graphical point of view. First of all, that going ending the journey in an extremely let's say positive way, because we have a very high um, um, 5 stars average ranking and very huge amount of positive, emotionally positive customer, means that probably you leave an excellent, an excellent experience to remember to the customers, which is extremely important. If I go back, to work of people that are much smarter than me, I remember that they said, the way your memory works, it tends to remember, good experience if for instance you started in a negative or in a neutral way, but you end up in a fantastic emotionally positive experience. So we are going very well. We see definitely that we have some problems in the customer journey, because if you see here, in the dining stage, we have quite a good portion of negative sentiments, as well as in the pre-arrival arrival stage. And here we have basically, I would say, a standard dashboard with graphical elements, nothing really new. But what is interesting is what happening below, where you can see that basically all this data have been passed also to, in this case, ChatGPT, and ChatGPT has identified immediately product improvement suggestions, and not only that, it has ranked the 10 most important product improvement suggestion based on the estimated difficulty of implementing for in Disneyland Paris. So not only extracting, the
Insights.
the insights, but also suggesting how to basically improve those insights in a way really a project can be put in place to do that. But ranking also saying, okay, these, for instance, let's take the first one just as an example. So, and maybe I can zoom in, no, because I'm sharing the screen, so I'm not able. But improve communication about attraction closure and technical problems. So this has been identified as one important, improvement to work on immediately. But the model tells you also the improvement can be implemented relatively quickly by enhancing the communication system between the park staff and visitor. It may require updating signaging, implementing real-time updates on the park website or mobile app. You see that really it goes in details and suggests you what to do, and it tells you also is not so complex this to tackle at the moment. So really information that can be actionable immediately and without a lot of effort.
I want to underscore this, Federico, if you don't mind, because
Yeah.
for many businesses, it's a real struggle to first capture information and then have the team or the skill or the ability to pull insights that are usable and actionable out of that information as quickly as possible, so that you can feed decision making, or that you can feed your C-suite team so that they can pivot or make decisions. So having something that provides this in real time is incredibly empowering for any business. So I don't want that to be missed on our attendees at all. So I wanted to highlight that. Thank you so much for sharing that, Federico.
No, and is an extreme important point what you have underlined, because this helps a lot businesses that, first of all, probably are not so mature in the field of customer experience management, so they think we need to invest a lot of money really to reach a level where we can extract actionable information that goes also in relation to the return of investment, because you do this investment to extract information that then improve really the customer journey, the processes, the communications, and generate more value to you and to your customer. This is important, this must become. And in the past, to reach this level without artificial intelligence means exactly to have a big team of people focus on analyzing the data, understanding the business, understanding the processes, etc., etc. Nowadays,
benefits, yeah, very expensive.
all these people are replaced by the artificial intelligence, and here you see already the business case and the return of investment, just not having to spend the money to hire all those people. But now going further, I don't go now in the detail, and we will see later what does it mean exactly to produce this list.
I want to highlight something before you go on there, Federico, because you touched on it, and I don't want anyone to miss it.
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, the cost of hiring a customer experience manager, data scientist, and a minimal sized team to run your customer experience department will run you anywhere between $2 to $325,000 a year in salaries. Just understand what that means. We're talking $200,000 to $300,000 a year, because you got to include benefits as well. But in salaries alone, to have a minimally sized team to run your customer experience department. What Federico is showing you is how what platform can replace a lot of that expense to give you much better ROI. Okay, so that should not be missed on your part. So when it comes to the question of, a popular question for us was, what is the ROI of customer experience and AI? You are watching just the beginning of it. The cost that's saved by having something that can feed you customer sentiment and insights in real time to empower your decision making. All right, Federico, go ahead.
Thank you. Here, if we go below, we see, the stages of the customer experience, and what you see below are basically the 10 most important touch points identified by the large language model, in this case ChatGPT. And when we consider as we see here, pre-arrival stage that generates a lot of negative sentiments, we can see that within the different touch points here, certainly ticketing is the one that generates more, let's say, headache to the customers, and then there is the accommodation. So we can immediately see which touch point we have to consider and tackle along the customer journey that generates negative sentiment to our customers.
That's powerful.
Federico, as you go here, us being data people, we could stay here all day long, but being an executive, being a CFO, being a COO, you get to see both on the financial side where you're losing, where you could be gaining, and at the COO level, you can see where your operations are falling down. I look at pre-visit stage touch points. For our audience, we'll zoom this in for you. Even though ticketing might be an issue at the pre-arrival stage, look at the major markers: visiting the park's website, pricing, and website again. So that tells us now as leadership, we need to make our prices more affordable. We need to create more packages, more diversity in our offerings. And then ultimately, we need to address our website. Your website is your house on the internet. This is where people first get to see you and understand you. So between your pricing and your website, if that's turning your people off, it's going to be much harder to make that up afterwards as they, enjoy the experience. So just at a glance, you get to see specifically within each touch point where are your areas, and that's just amazing technology. Thank you, Federico.
No problem. But you raise also a very important, in my opinion, a very important point, because if we look at these stages as they are on the screen, and we see clearly, that the majority of the negativity comes at the early stage of the customer journey. So if we, I mean, you mentioned pricing, and it's clearly something that at the beginning of the customer journey is extremely negative and extremely relevant, but you don't see anymore the pricing at the end of the journey. So what it tells us, it tells us that probably we have a problem because the customer doesn't understand what kind of benefits spending that money he will get at Disneyland Paris. So it's not a problem that the pricing is wrong, but it's a problem that the customer has not yet measured what he will get out of those money. So probably there is a problem that we need to change something at the beginning of the customer journey to make the customer more aware on the things are included in his ticket and in the money he will spend. But
and also
it was just yeah.
And also to Federico, it allows us to take a deeper dive into the profile of that customer, because it may also hint that that may not necessarily be the ideal profile of customer for our offering. In our example yesterday, or in our last episode, we discussed the difference between a Spirit airline customer and an Emirates customer.
Exactly.
If Disneyland will ideally suited for an Emirates customer, this pricing dissatisfaction hint from this data would probably suggest that this might or could be a Spirit customer trying to shop in an Emirates environment. So again, it just hints at the platform is able to help us identify where we need to investigate more so we can better understand our customer to make sure that we're either delivering our value and communicating appropriately, or if we may need to not worry about that type of customer because, I haven't shopped for $1 million home yet in my life. And there's a reason, right?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make that point. I think that is incredible. That is very, very empowering.
I remember to all the people in the audience that the touch points are extracted automatically from the artificial intelligence. So just to explain how it works, I ask the artificial intelligence, in my case, because I'm not an expert in customer journey of amusement park, to create the journey. So the stages are created automatically by the artificial intelligence, and the artificial intelligence assign the part of the comments with the topic and the sentiment to that stage. But the touch point is automatically decided by the artificial intelligence. So I instruct the model to say, to that stage, please extract the touch point and tell me in which touch point the comment goes, and that is that fully in a full automated way by the artificial intelligence. I go down, you know, I want to drill down in a specific touch points. I show you what is possible to do. Of course, you know, since we extract the topics, not necessarily, you know, we need to show them as a customer journey, but we can do a full, you know, topic tech analysis. We can see what are the 20 most positive and negative topics, so we can you know, compare and see what the customer is talking bad and good. We can show you know, how the topics change over time in basically the 10 most often topics show as a trend over time, etc., etc. Of course, and imagine we are talking about just analyzing you know, a data set with 2 columns, the 5 stars ranking and the feedback itself, you know. So it's quite impressive out of basically unstructured data, how I can really quantify you know, facts related to my business. But I want to drill down to, you know, the pre-arrival stage, because we said, you know, it's creating a lot of you know, negative sentiment customers. So I want to really better understand what I can do to improve you know, the customer experience in that stage. So I click, I go here. As I said, I see I have you know, a certain average related to this stage. I have my sentiment analysis. As you can see, the negativity is quite high in this stage. I have the touch point. So the touch point here are talking about reservation, transportation, ticketing, etc., etc. And then I use, as we have seen in the first page, I use basically ChatGPT to list again the top 10 improvement that I can do in this phase. So isolated just in this phase, and sorry, and the ranking also this improvement according to how difficult is to basically implement them. You can see, for instance, that the first one is improve payment process, and there is a full explanation why the model think it's easy to implement you know, this improvement, and you can see all the list. I apologize. Here is important to mention to you guys how the model works in my case. It doesn't extract immediately this top 10 lists of product improvement, but it goes in different steps. So the first step, it takes all the feedbacks and generate a list of pros and cons that you see here. And then out of the list of pros and cons, it create you know, a list of improvement, the 10 most important improvement, and then in the third step, it generates this list of product improvement. So you see a certain complexity, but this complexity is transparent to the user. So we are trying to act a little bit like Apple, you know. I'm 100% sure that you know, 90% of an Apple user computer, if he knew that behind they're running on Unix, they won't use the system, but no one knows that behind there is a Unix operating system, so they are happy to use it because it's easy to use it. And this is the philosophy, you know. We try really to make the life of our client easy. As we said before, we try to avoid, you know, for customers that are not really mature in the customer experience management, not to basically not to have a block or an obstacle to adopt customer experience management, because they can get immediately you know, very useful information.
That is brilliant.
Of course, when we go in a specific stage, then you know, we can go also in specific touch points. You know, we have seen, for instance, that in the case of this phase, reservation and transportation, where the touch point that generates more unsatisfied customers. And here you see exactly then suggestions coming from the artificial intelligence models. What are the pros and cons, and what are you know, the 10 most important improvement that we can bring just in the reservation touch point. You see, you can really drill down and get specific advice on you know, the part of the customer experience, the journey mapping that is relevant for the customers, and we give really the suggestion, dedicated to it.
I think this is just amazing technology, because oftentimes when you don't have accurate and insightful data like this, you end up making broad adjustments, or maybe you might make adjustments that affects the team's dynamic, your resource allocation, how you're addressing your front-facing staff, and you're tweaking on the go. So this is more of a surgical precision, where you know specifically at this touch point level, we need to adjust just this thing, or we need to just adjust this process a little bit and see. So it's not just, you can use this to do sweeping changes, but you can also dial this in to have surgical precision within your customer experience. And folks, that saves money and time when you can drill all the way down and just tweak a little bit of what this customer is experiencing without having to affect everybody else. Trust me, you've been there, where a company has implemented a brand new system and everyone's frustrated. Your rewards are gone. You don't know where your loyalty points are, versus them just adjusting something specific to your concern. And that's the beauty. And it's just amazing, Federico, just amazing stuff.
And in addition to that too, Richard, it offers us a predictive capability that C-suite and their strategic teams haven't had in the past. Now you get to see the impact of moving one part of one touch point on the entire journey, on the entire stage. And that's powerful, because like you said, you've had to do generalized, almost intelligent guesses in the past, but this gives you another layer of granular information that feeds your ability to be more targeted. And in being more targeted, you're more efficient with resources. You're certainly more efficient in time. It's more empowering for your team, because a team who is trying to execute a plan that works, most of the time, it creates a very positive employee experience as well. So this, on so many levels, has huge impact for your business. Federico, well done, well done. And I know you're not done, but this is amazing. This is amazing, especially for us in the Caribbean, because our CX maturity level is not the same as in Europe or Asia or the US. But this allows us to play with the big dogs. We get to play like we're big kids now. So thank you for this.
No, definitely. And that was the idea, you know. Also yesterday we were talking about, you know, for me, what is important is to improve the customer experience of my clients or my future clients.
Yes.
And this is something that I'm trying to achieve, integrating artificial intelligence, removing barriers to entry for companies, and make life easier, to my clients. Going back on what Richard said before, you see here that the suggestions are really related to the top improvement suggestion, really related to the reservation touch point. So, for instance, the number one is resolve technical errors on the booking website to prevent customers from having to resubmit credit card details. You see, it's a very specific one. So the model was really able to go through the feedbacks assigned to the reservation touch points and really extract precise information, and giving suggestion. Okay, you have really to have a look in that specific details of the customer journey because something doesn't work properly. And it's not just have a look at the pay page in your website, because that would be too generic. Here is to prevent customer from having to resubmit credit card details. So it's a very specific one that you can immediately act on and solve. And the same, if you go to the transportation touch point, that was the one that also generate a lot of unsatisfied, negative sentiment, unsatisfied customer. We see also here specific suggestion, just basically directed to this specific touch point, because here improve the signage and direction to the parking lot and entrance of the park to reduce confusion and delays. So are really precise information and things that probably I'm not an expert. That is not is a little bit more complex to study and to bring in, but definitely it's not rocket science at the end of the day. So so can be really tackled and become. So imagine you have people responsible of the touch point transportation, business people, and etc. They can really start to work on specific project that was brought in by the voice of the customer, not by I suppose that the customer do this or do that. No. I listen to the voice of the customer. Thanks to artificial intelligence, I understood what are the problems and what are the potential solutions, and now I can act immediately and bring the solution to life and make the life of my customers better, and hopefully create value for me and for my customers.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, you see why they get so many accolades, why SANDSIV gets so many awards, is because they're giving you the power to innovate and iterate your business organically in real time. So we just discussed before that you had a website issue. When I'm looking at top improvement suggestions, I'm seeing number 2, provide better communication and information about delays and conditions, especially during inclement weather. That's the app. So I don't have to worry about increasing more of a physical force in terms of staff and warning people. I know I need to go to talk to my app developers and say, hey, how can we make sure that we're sending out a notification to all park attendees in real time? Once again, surgical precision, limited waste in terms of your team effort, your R&D. You're just solving the customer's problem at their level, and that's beautiful. It's just amazing stuff, Federico.
Thank you. And this is more or less what I wanted to show you today. I don't want to annoying our audience in terms that of course it was a pleasure for me to show my product, but on the same time, it's important to me, you know, out of my passion for customer experience, out of my passion for artificial intelligence, to make always my clients and my potential clients at the center of what we do. So for me, it's really important that we can generate fast value and with the lowest effort as possible. And as Roger and also as you, Richard, mentioned before, not necessarily for customers that are, you know, at an extreme high level of maturity with customer experience, but thanks to this, you know, technology and to this technology supported by artificial intelligence, even extremely low mature customers can get immediately benefits out of listening the voice of the customer.
Yes, awesome. So I know we still have some questions that I think we can use both the demonstration and your wealth of knowledge to touch on. Roger, I know you still have a few questions from our viewers.
Yes, yes. Wow. Okay. So one of the questions that came from a customer experience person with a fintech was, what limitations or warnings are there for combining customer experience and AI?
Well, the limitation, I don't see at the moment limitations in terms on a, let's say, technological point of view. We have limitations. We have to consider another aspects here in terms of limitations. So the ethical aspect and the legal aspect. So the legal framework. Now I'm talking about, you know, Europe, because I know better Europe. So in Europe we have a specific GDPR framework, so we have to pay attention not to break this framework. I know a lot of company at the moment have basically some constraint on using, for instance, ChatGPT, because it's outside Europe. They are not sure about the data, etc., etc. So in our specific case, we are using also open source model that we can basically use inside our infrastructure, and in this way we know exactly where the data goes, and the data never leave the domain and the infrastructure of the client. So I see more you know, more legal and security, let's say, potential, you know, problems than the technology one. Because, you know, I was discussing this morning with my research and development team, and we were amazed how fast now the research and the development goes in artificial intelligence. I think companies, especially big tech companies, are investing a huge amount of monies. Investors are interested in the field and are pumping a lot of money also in open source projects. So is going extremely fast from the technology point of view.
Speaking about that speed, one of the concerns one of the concerns that we have right now with our customers is that, you know, there are a lot of chat bots. Right now you have your augmented voices and over the phone. What's the right mix of both the AI voice and the human element when you're dealing with especially urgent customer issues and questions?
Great question.
Is a very good question. I mean, I'm one of the topic I'm working at the moment, and that is, let's say, extremely hot in the area of artificial intelligence, is the topic of you know, artificial intelligence agents. What does it mean? I try to explain it in a very easy way. we tend to think, for instance, when we chat with ChatGPT or whatever other chatbot, that we are chatting with one entity, and this is correct, because in practice, when we use ChatGPT in our browser, we chat directly to ChatGPT. Now, let's imagine that instead to chat with a single agent, you chat with a team that they have a specific hierarchy, and everyone in the team has specific roles, a specific specialities to bring in the team. So I tell you this because you know, if we can really give a specific task to a team, for instance, that supports a customer, then we can use less humans intervention in dealing with the customer, because the agents control the work of each others. I know that sounds like rocket science, and sounds like a futuristic things, but I can tell you that it is impressive. I'm working on that topic, and it's really impressive. Of course, you always need a human overview, because what you can do also, programming these agents, you can say, okay, you can reach this level, but when you reach this level, please go back to the human person and ask what to do to the human person. So this means you always have control on what is happening. In the case of your question, Richard, definitely you have to define the boundaries to say, okay, when my bot, my agent must interact, reach the level that say, now I need to bring in a human because I don't know what to do. This is the point,
Okay. Yes. Wow. One of the most popular question out of the US was, can the combination of AI and CX work for any industry? Because we have people from energy, retail, financial services, fintech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes, the answer is yes. The simple answer is yes. The explanation is models like the models offered by OpenAI, so the whole family of ChatGPT models are a huge model, and they are extreme generalistic. So they have been trained with such amount of data that they gain knowledge more or less in whatever domain. Of course, you need always to give the right instructions. The problem of those big general models is that they are so general that they need specific instructions to act, and boundaries to act in a way that they stay in the specific domain you want the model act. Of course, you have always the possibility to fine-tune the model. So to do something that technically is called transfer learning. So you take a model that is already trained, and you train the model on specific problems or on a specific domains without using a huge amount of data. That is the big advantage. You can really train the model with low amount of data.
Wow. So you could use it in any. You can assist anyone.
Yes.
Scale of low to high maturity in CX. It has amazing ROI value, as we've seen and been demonstrated. You have precision in understanding your customer's issue, and then you have precision in executing those solutions. So it's a very fine tuning type system. we can keep you here, but we know you need to get back to where you're going. Roger, I just have one more question for Federico.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, you've been at this for years. This is your brainchild. This is your life's passion. Where do you see CX in 10 years? You know, do you see it more on the AI side? Do you see where the human AI blend will be as optimized as possible? What do you see in the foreseeable future for CX?
So Richard here, I need to answer you back, using more than a couple of minutes probably, because I have to tell you something. When I was, it was, I think, 93 or 94, I was in United States. And I've seen a couple of, words written with a net in between and ending with AOL.com. And then I asked, what the hell are these things? And they explain me, this is the internet, this is email. And then I said, what exactly is the internet? What exactly is the email? And they explained me. And then I said, wow, this thing will make a big revolution in the human's life, And I came back to Europe, and I spent 2 years trying to convince people, to do a website or to do something like that. It was impossible. No one trusts me, I tell you this because you asked me what kind of impact this has on the actual way we do customer experience. And you even asked me where we will be in 10 years. I think in 1 or 2 years, we will see a big revolutions in the way companies will work with voice of the customer experience system, because this artificial intelligence remembers me a lot the first time I've seen the internet. I
Wow.
think it will have a big impact. And the other things is, a lot of people now are focusing on the buzzword artificial intelligence. At that time, a lot of people, had focus on the buzzword internet. But nowadays, who do you know, for instance, in this moment, what is the bandwidth of the internet connection you are connected in this moment? No, because it's so transparent. Internet is part of your life, and the applications that are living on top of internet makes our life easier. That it will be the artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence will be transparent, and all the nice things that make our life easier and quicker will do the difference also in customer experience management, but in in everything in our lives. And I can bet right now, if you want, it will be a big revolution.
Yes. Well, thank you for that. I tend to agree with you. It's coming. It's something
Yeah.
to embrace because you can't hide from it. Like you said, you could avoid not having an email 20 years ago, but can't have it now.
What is now? Yep, that's right.
Exactly.
Right. That's right. Wow. I wish we had 2 or 3 more hours, Federico, but I'm pretty certain you have a life, and so we should let you have it. Thank you so much for your time, your insight, your expertise. Seeing what you're able to do at Disneyland Paris is amazing. So the hospitality industry, don't ignore this. You can be empowered by CX and AI through SANDSIV Plus, and of course I am. Um, Regardless of industry, you can be served and supported by a customer experience management strategy with AI included as a support. So thank you so much, Federico Cesconi, co-founder and CEO of SANDSIV. I want to thank, of course, our CEO for supporting an event, a 2-part webinar series. When I brought up the idea, he was wondering if I was crazy, but I think we've added so much value in these 2 sessions to our 160 RSVPs. I think we've added real value here, made a big difference. So thank you so much for believing in that, Richard. And I am Roger Nicholas, Director of Customer Experience at Island Analytics and Marketing. Thank you so much for joining us for this webinar series on turning weaknesses into strengths using customer experience, voice of customer tech, and AI. Thanks again. Have a great day and go win.